Good morning, K3. Welcome to another wonderful Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. I'm really excited for this week. We got some fun Zoom meetings. We're going to try some new things. We're going to do small group Zoom meetings, take a couple of virtual field trips. I got a lot of fun stuff planned. So let's get right to it, all right? Good morning, everybody. Let's start with our good morning song. Here we go. Good morning, everybody.
Are you ready
You
for
guys
a
ready?
brand new day?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
How are you?
It's so nice to have you here with me today. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just fine.
Howdy, howdy do, hello, good day. Now that we're together,
learning so much fun.
the more of us, the better. So come on, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just fine.
Howdy, howdy do, hello, good day. Santiago, Sylvia, good morning. Sophia, good morning. Samaja, good morning. Katie, good morning. Tyson, good morning. Alan and Elias, good morning. James, good morning. Jalen, good morning. Benjamin, good morning. Good morning, Akila. Good morning, Kenneth and Walter. Good morning, Natalie, Noah, Marvin, and Trinity. Lily, good morning. Giovanni, good morning. Chloe, good morning. Jules, good morning. Sophie, good morning. Patty, good morning. Miss Wicks, good morning.
It's so
Nice to have you here with me today. Parents and families and brothers and sisters, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just fine.
Howdy, howdy do, hello, good day. Now that we're together, you better say good morning to Zorro, everybody.
The more of us, the better. So
Say
come
good morning,
on,
Zorro.
everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Just fine.
Howdy, howdy do, hello, good day. Howdy, howdy do, hello, good day. Awesome, K3, boom. All right, every day. We do it every day because it's so important. Let's get to our letter sounds. Here we go. There, share that. Yeah. This was Tucker's favorite song when he was like 4 years old.
A goes A, B goes C goes,
D goes D.
E goes F goes, G goes,
G.
H goes, I
goes
goes, J goes, K goes,
L goes
O,
M goes N goes O goes
P goes, Q goes, R goes, S goes, T goes, U goes, V goes, W goes, X goes, Y goes,
Yes. Z
goes. All the letters make their sounds. There are consonants and vowels, and they all have different sounds from A to Z. Now sing with me. What do the letters say?
What do the letters say?
A goes
A.
B goes
C
goes
D goes D.
E goes
F.
F goes
G
goes
H goes
I goes
I. J goes K goes L goes O. M goes N
N
goes
goes
O goes A. goes. Q goes. R goes. S goes. T goes. U goes. V goes.
W goes.
X goes. Y goes. Yes. Z goes.
All the letters make
Their sounds, there are consonants and vowels, and they all have different sounds from A to Z. Now sing with me.
What do the letters say?
Get up and dance. Don't stand still, K3.
J, O,
Ah. Qua. R.
What? Yeah. What do the letters say?
Nice, K3. All right, here we go. Let's get right in. Vowels, 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 vowels. Let me hear what you know about that. Interesting. Well, you're right. Vowels have two sounds. Everywhere you ever read has a vowel. Sing the vowel song, guys. These are the vowels. Get your hands up for the most important letters in the alphabet.
These cool letters are the vowels. Check them out.
Get your hands up.
A-E-I-O-U. These are the vowels. A-E-I-O-U. Listen to the sounds. A is a vowel and it has two sounds. One says its own name. Acorn. The other one says apple. E is a vowel and it has two sounds. One says its own name. Eagle. The other one says elephant. Yeah. I is a vowel and it has two sounds. One says its own name. Ice. The other one says insect. An O is a vowel and it has two sounds. One says its own name. Oval. The other one says octopus. Whoa. A U is a vowel and it has two sounds. One says its own name. Ukulele. The other one says umbrella. A-E-I-O-U. These are the vowels. A-E-I-O-U. Listen to the sounds. Sing it.
There we go.
A-E-I-O-U. These are the vowels. A-E-I-O-U. Listen to the sounds.
There we go.
Pop, pop, popcorn
There we go.
words.
Little
Pop,
popcorn word action
pop,
time, guys.
popcorn words. Pop, pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines. Pop, pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines.
From, over, saw, some, make, put, this, want, blue, will, under, yellow, where, here, where, to, of, green.
Pop, pop, pop,
Get up and dance, everybody. I love it. Keep it up. Good work.
pop, popcorn words. Pop, pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines. Pop, pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and
Here
magazines.
we go. Good. What word is this? My. Who. What? Because. Here, silent E. Come. Said. Are. Do. Have. Me. To. From. Over.
Pop, popcorn words, pop, pop, popcorn words, pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines. Pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines.
Some. Make. This. Want. Blue. Will. Under. Yellow. Where? To. Green. Who. What? Because. Here. Come. Said. Love it, love
Popcorn
it, love it.
words, pop, popcorn words, pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines. Pop up when you read in newspapers, books, and magazines.
Look, are, do, have, me, and
Good morning,
two. There we go, K3. Hopefully we know all of our rainbow words. Looking great. All right, K3. It is Monday, and we are going to call it Macarena Monday. So on Macarena Monday, the plan is we're going to learn how to dance the Macarena. Now, if you don't know how to dance the Macarena, that's fine. We'll learn. If you do, it'll be pretty fun and pretty easy. Let's get started with our Macarena months of the year. All right, there we go.
OneMotorsports.com, your one-stop shop for
Interesting.
Nissan and Infiniti performance and replacement parts.
Let's get that.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, then you turn around.
Here we go.
January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, then you turn around. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, then you turn around. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, then you sit back down.
All right. Good, 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 good. Let's see. It is now time for our calendar. Do I have the days of the week lined up or not? I do not think I do. So we're going to slide right on over to calendar, everybody. Here we go. Little calendar time. Get that in focus. All right. Good morning. We are wrapping up April, everybody. We did our months of the year. You know the month is April, and the April showers bring May flowers. May's coming up quickly. I like May a lot because May 1st is my birthday. That's coming up very soon, next week. Let's do our days of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So yesterday was Sunday. Today is Monday. And tomorrow will be Tuesday. Let's go. Teeny tiny voice count. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. We're going to keep on going. 25, 26, 27. Today is Monday, April 27th. Let's do a pattern. We're going to start a pattern. Sphere, sphere, cube, cone. Sphere, sphere, cube, cone. Sphere, sphere, cube, cone. Sphere, sphere, cube. All right, there are 27. Now, we're going to do Mr. Stanton counting. And when we do Mr. Stanton counting, we break numbers up. We decompose numbers into tens and ones, which is exactly what we're learning about in Chapter 7 of math. Can you decompose numbers into tens and ones? Can you take the number 16, and do you know that 16 is 10 and 6? All right, awesome, let's go. We'll do it in our wacky voice, okay? Everybody get your funny voice. Watch it like that. Look, okay. Mr. Stanton counting, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 and 1, 10 and 2, 10 and 3, 10 and 4, 10 and 5, 10 and 6, 10 and 7, 10 and 8, 10 and 9, 10 and 10. Now we're going to go 20 and 1, 20 and 2, 20 and 3, 20 and 4, 20 and 5, 20 and 6, 20 and 7. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, well, all right, there we go, Peter. Looking great. Let's do a little, you know what? I found a new popsicle. I only thought there were 2 popsicles. There's actually more than 2. So come with me, come with me, come with me, come with me. Walking, we're walking, we're walking, we're walking. I'm right back here. Yes. I found Popsicle 3.0, and I've never listened to it before. So this will be fun. Great. Let's take a break. Here we go. Popsicle 3.0. This is going to be amazing. I can't wait. There it is. Yes. Get full screen for me. Popsicle 3.0. I wonder. Yeah. Popsicle 3.
Hey, Neil.
Hey, what?
Are you ready?
For what?
To pop. Pop what? Popsicle. My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle.
His hands are high, his feet are low, and this is how he popsicles.
Popsicle. Pop, popsicle.
New popsicle move.
Popsicle. Pop, popsicle. Hey, Brian. Hey, what? Are you ready?
For what?
To pop.
Pop what?
Popsicle! My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle.
Chicken dance.
His hands are high, his feet are low, and this is how he popsicles. Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Hey, Dino. Hey, what? Are you ready? For what? To pop. Pop what?
Awesome.
Popsicle. My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle. His hands are high, his feet are low, and this is how he popsicles. Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Hey, kitty cat.
Hey, what?
What?
Are you ready?
For what?
To pop.
Pop what?
Popsicle.
My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle.
Her hands are high, her feet are low, and this is how she popsicles. Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Hey, pizza guy. Hey, what?
Whoa.
Are you ready?
Pizza.
To pop. Pop what? Popsicle. My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle. His hands
lift
are
that
high, his feet
pizza.
are low, and this is how he popsicles. Popsicle, pop,
Pizza guys are my favorite.
Popsicle, pop, popsicle. Hey, everyone. everyone.
Hey, what?
Are you ready?
For what?
To pop.
Pop what?
Popsicle.
My hands are high, my feet are low, and this is how I popsicle.
Your hands are high, your
Feet are low, and this is how you popsicle.
Popsicle, pop, popsicle, popsicle, pop, popsicle. Yeah! Yes! You did it! Popsicle! All right, let's break it down.
What?
Dance,
No way.
dance break.
Oh. Dance break any way you want. Don't drop the pizzas. Go boneless. Yeah. Wow. That was fun and new and pretty amazing. Those guys are a lot of fun. Keith? That's my favorite time of the day. And I have a new book that I am going to be reading to you. But first, I'm going to read it to myself because it's read to self. It's not read to a friend. Everybody get ready for read to self. Get your books, get your spot, find a nice, comfy spot where you won't be disturbed. If you got an older brother or a younger sister who's always loud or talking on the phone or screaming, make sure you find a place where you can work well, where you can stay in one spot, where you can read the whole time. All right? Here we go. I'm going to set the 8-minute dog time. We're going to see if we can get Zora to bark at the end. He's going to protect me from this mean dog on the TV screen, all right? Here we go. Get ready for, oh, there he is. Come here, dog. 8 minutes. You guys can do 8 minutes. Easy. Ready? Spaghetti. 8 minutes of reading and begin. Oh, oh, save me, Zorro. Save me. You gonna protect me? Oh, thank you, buddy. Yeah, you tell that mean dog. Beat it. What a good guard dog I have. K3, welcome back. Welcome back. Come on back. Finish up reading. Close your books. Maybe you don't want to. Just hit pause then and keep on reading. You don't have to stop reading. Oh, yes, Zorro. Zorro is worried. Look at that. Look at that. See? He's like, oh, oh. Where'd that dog go? Where'd that dog go? Here, let me let you out. Let me let Zorro out. So you can go bark at somebody. Go get him, Zorro. He'll be right back. All right, K3. Great job. How many of you got started right away? How many of you stayed in one spot? Good. How many of you read the whole time? I'm coming on back quickly and quietly. When you do those things, your brain is going to grow. Your hard work at home. We've been working all year, you doing this by yourself. And now you are. You're at home. I'm not here with you. Which is why it's so important that you don't break stamina. Great job, everybody. Let's stand up. Let's get a break in. I want to count to 100. All right? Here we go. Zoro's still protecting me. Vicious guard dog. Vicious. There we go.
100, give me a cake. This is gonna be fun. I can count all the way to 100 by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. 51, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. I am a counting superhero. I can count up to 100. Give me a cake, this is gonna be fun. I can count all the way to 100 by ones.
All right, K3. Here we go. Looking good there.
How?
Yep. This is another wonderful, wonderful, wonderful book by my good friend. Not my good friend. I wish I'd never met him, but his name is Bill Peet. And when I was in kindergarten, he was one of my favorite authors, mostly because I like dragons. And I like to go outside, and I like nature, and I like being in the woods, and I just loved Bill Peet. So he's the author, written and illustrated of this book, and this was maybe one of my favorite Bill Peet books. How Drufus the dragon lost his head. Yikes. So I bet you this is Drufus, right? Here's our character, and I can see the setting of this book is he's living in a cave, and there's some other characters here. We have animals, because animals can be characters, right? So I already have the setting, and I have the characters. And you know what? The title is giving me a big clue. Losing your head. That does not sound good. So I wonder, maybe we even have a problem in this story. Lots of stories have problems, and then they have a solution where the problem gets solved, right? So we're going to read this right now. We're looking for the problem and the solution, all right? And maybe there's more than one problem. How Drufus the dragon lost his head. Written and illustrated by Bill Peet. Here's Drufus, he's flying over some farmland. Once upon a time, there lived a family of dragons. They were a horrible bunch of beasts who traveled about from country to country, stirring up trouble wherever they went. One day on a trip to some faraway land, the dragon family flew into a dense fog. Bill Peet does love his fog. There's fog in Kermit the Hermit too, I remember that. And Drufus, the youngest of the dragons, lost track of the others. Drufus kept circling about in the endless great cloud, calling and calling in a squeaky small voice until at last he was too weary to flap his wings. Weary means tired. Then the little dragon gave up and went gliding down to land on the mountainside and crawled into a cave where he curled up in the corner to sleep for the night. He's just a little dragon. Drufus awoke the next morning feeling very lonely and ever so hungry. So he left his cave to find something for breakfast. Drufus was just 4 years old. And at that age, dragons feed on small things like grasshoppers and beetles. As he was searching the tall grass near the cave, he came across a grasshopper, struggling helplessly in a spider web. The spider was all set to pounce. Remember, pounce means to jump on it. When suddenly Drufus snatched the grasshopper out of the web. For a long while, Drufus held the grasshopper by one leg, wondering what to do. How could he eat someone just after saving his life? It didn't seem right. So finally, he set the grasshopper free. Let the grasshopper go. After that, Drufus gave up eating grasshoppers and beetles and all other things that hopped or crept or crawled. As much as he disliked it, the young dragon took to eating grass. So Drufus is only eating grass now? Well, that tastes awful, he said after one mouthful, but I'll just have to get used to it. And sure enough, the more grass he ate, the better he liked it. Pretty soon, Drufus found the grass so tasty he was stuffing it down by the fistful. So Drufus used to be, most dragons, when you think about dragons, they eat meat. They're carnivores, right? And Drufus, when young dragons, they ate small things like bugs. But Drufus has turned into a vegetarian. He only eats grass now. He's an herbivore. It's a name for an animal that only eats plants. So he went from being a carnivore, and now he's an herbivore. So he's like a vegetarian dragon. And in a surprisingly short time, the grass-eating dragon grew into a giant of a monster, a huge scaly brute with a long pointed tail and big leathery bat wings. There's too much of me now, grumbled Drufus. I'm one big overgrown lump with nothing to do but eat and sleep. Then he remembered his wings. He hadn't been on a flight since he was 4 years old, the day he was lost in the fog. Flying might be fun for a change, he said, and spreading his wings, he sailed up through the pines, and then out over the countryside, into the countryside. It was a perfect day for flying, so sunny and clear he could make out every haystack, the haystacks, that dotted the field below. He could see cows in the meadow, and ducks in the pond, and a cart traveling along a yellow ribbon of road past the farmhouses. Farther on, there are more roads and more houses, great clusters of houses, with a castle towering above the rooftops. It was the castle of the king, and the king was out on the balcony enjoying the beautiful morning. Great Godsudikins, he cried when he caught sight of Drufus. A dragon, a whopper of a dragon! And the king watched in amazement until the dragon had sailed away to disappear in the forest high on the mountainside. What a marvelous thing it would be, he said, to have the giant dragon's head on the wall of the great hall. And the king offered a reward of 100 golden quadruples for the dragon's head, which was a lot of money in those days. Now, I don't know what a quadruple is, but it's golden. And then Bill Pete says it was a lot of money. So I think a golden quadruple must be like a golden coin. And he wants to have the dragon's head. Oh, maybe that's why this story is called How Drufus the Dragon Lost His Head, right? Because the king wants the dragon's head on his great hall, or Drufus. That same afternoon, every brave knight in the kingdom rode up the mountainside in search of the dragon. Drufus was resting against a tree when the clumpity clump of horses' hooves, these are the horses' hooves, remember the horses' feet are called the hooves, and the clankety clank of armor reached his ears. Here are the knights, they're all dressed in armor, and they have these lances and their shields and their swords. A 2-ton dragon was much too weary. The 2-ton dragon was much too weary. Where's their word weary? Remember, weary means tired. From his sightseeing trip to go flying again, so he scurried back into his cave to hide. The knights were looking for a cave with bones scattered about the entrance. But if they had gone all the way in one of them, they would have seen Drufus. So it's a good thing. Usually dragons' caves have bones around them. But not Drufus, because he doesn't eat animals, right? Good thing he was a vegetarian and he only ate plants. Otherwise, they would have found him. After one peek into Drufus's cave, they hurried up the mountainside, peeking into all the other caves as they went. The knights searched for months, peeking into hundreds of caves, but not one of them had the look of a dragon's cave. So at last they gave up in despair. They quit. They got too tired. They gave up. The dragon's hideout would have remained a mystery if a lamb hadn't gone astray one evening. That means it got lost. The lamb had wandered into the pine forest on the mountainside, and before long, a farm boy came looking for her. Lighting the way with a lantern, the boy followed the lamb's trail. Small bits of wool had caught on the brambles here and there. When he came to the cave, he raised his lantern to peer inside. At first, there seemed to be nothing in the cave but rabbits. Then, farther back in the dark, he spied a small white blob. It was the lamb curled up beside a scaly, pointed dragon's tail. And looming up To the roof of the cave was the rest of the dragon, sound asleep and snoring. Here, Flossie. Come here, Flossie, the boy called softly, careful not to awaken the dragon. The lamb finally raised her head, then hopping to her feet, came trotting out of the cave, and the boy and the lamb went scampering away through the forest. Halfway down the mountain, they met the boy's father, and he was very angry. How many times must I warn you, he growled, to stay out of the woods after dark? But I had to find Flossie, said the boy, and you'd never guess where. She was sleeping in a cave with a dragon. A dragon, stammered her father. Are you sure? A giant of a dragon, said the boy. Why, son, did you know there's a reward on his head? 100 golden quadruples. The Night's King has been searching the mountains for months. If you lead the knights to his cave, I'm sure you'll get at least part of the reward. I can't do that, said the boy. If he wouldn't hurt my lamb, then he must be a good dragon, so I'll never tell anyone where he lives. There's Flossie the lamb. With nothing to worry about and so little to do, life was getting dull for Drufus. That means boring. And he decided a change of scenery might help. One day he said goodbye to his cave and he took off on a trip to most anywhere. However, he picked the very worst day for flying, and before he knew it, Drufus was caught in a storm. He wheeled around to head back for his cave, but too late. The fierce wind twisted his neck and tail and ripped at his wings and sent him tumbling backward into the clouds. The dragon battled the storm until his wings were tattered to shreds. Then, helpless as a butterfly, he went whirling down out of the clouds to land with an earth-shaking kerwump far out in the field. Drufus was so battered and bruised he couldn't move. Well, now we have a problem, right? He can't even move. He was one big hurt from the point on his tail to the spikes on his nose. And he lay there sprawled out in the field while the storm went thundering away over the mountains. Then he heard someone shouting, "It's the dragon, the big dragon! I saw him fall!" And pretty soon a small boy came running across the field, followed by a man and a woman. It was the same boy who had found his lamb in the dragon's cave. Uh-oh. We definitely have a problem here. Drufus is super hurt, and he can't move, and there's a reward on his head. I wonder if the boy's going to turn him in to get the money. It's him, all right, said the boy after one look at Drufus. He appears to be dead, said his father. What a pitiful big thing, said his mother. But he's not dead, cried the boy. I just blinked an eye. I can blink an eye, groaned Drufus, but that's all. I'm just about done for. Are you going to tell the king? The boy asked his father, and collect 100 quadruples? You found him, son. That's for you to decide. He's a good dragon, said the boy. If I take good care of him, he might get well. Oh, so the boy's not going to turn him in for the reward. Drufus was covered with a straw stack, like a haystack, to keep him from chilling during the night. And every day the boy brought him bunches of fresh grass and a tub of fresh water. And every day the dragon felt a little bit better. What makes your father so sad? Asked Drufus one day. Because we're so poor, said the boy. And the reason we're poor is because all these big rocks, they take up too much room. There's not much land left to grow anything. We've tried every which way to get rid of them. But with everyone on the farm all pulling and pushing at once, we can't even budge even one of the rocks. That's enough to make anyone sad. Well, here's another problem. There's so many rocks on the field that they can't grow anything. Too many rocks, so it's not good land for growing. I wonder if there's a solution to that problem. Early one morning, long before the first rooster crowed, Drufus burst out of the straw stack, feeling as fit as ever and just as good as new, except for his wings. See, his wings are still ruined. They were still so badly tattered they were useless, but the wings didn't matter. After that awful crash landing, Drufus was through with flying. Besides, he had better things to do. Seizing the nearest boulder, a huge rock is called a boulder, he jerked it off the ground, then carried it away to the far end of the field, where he dropped it. Kerblump! Huh. Drufus is moving the rocks. That was easy, said Drufus. The next time he carried 3 rocks, then 4 and 5, stacking them all up in one pile. When the poor farmer stepped out of the door of his cottage then that morning, the land was half cleared, and he let out a whoop that could be heard for a mile. I told you he was a good dragon, said the boy. He's a great dragon, cried his father, tossing his hat high in the air. See, now all the land is clear. Rufus got rid of all the boulders. By noontime, Rufus had piled every last rock into one big pyramid. At last, the land was clear, and the happy farmer hitched his donkey to a plow. This is the plow. Use a plow to tear up the earth so that you can plant it. To a plow and set out across the field. That's what you call plowing, said the dragon. I can do that too. Jabbing his pointed tail deep into the ground, Rufus went trotting along, leaving a deep furrow, pulling up weeds and eating them as he went. This is the furrow, the line in farmland. And then you put the seeds in your furrow. After the plowing was done, he helped plant the wheat. He hauled logs from the forest and used his long, jagged tail for a saw. And he cut enough firewood in one day to last the whole winter. When he ran out of things to do, he stood in the wheat field with his great arms outstretched, serving as a very fine scarecrow. He's worth more than 100 quadruples, said the happy farmer. He's worth 1,000. But happiest of all was Rufus. At last, he had become something useful, not just a big lunk of a thing. Well, see, there's another problem. Rufus felt like he wasn't good for anything. He didn't do anything. He just sat around and ate grass all day. But now he's useful. He's doing some good work. He no longer worried about the king's knights coming after him. The farm was so far out in the country, hardly anyone knew he was there. So he's not worried about the king's knights anymore either. That problem solved. The only one to worry about was an old sheep herder who lived somewhere back in the hills. Once every spring, the man drove his ox cart over the bumpy road that ran past the farm on his way to the village to market his wool, to get the wool from the sheets. The bad-tempered old fellow could be heard shouting at his oxen long before he passed the farm, and these animals are called ox. So when you have two ox, they're called oxen. So there was plenty of time for Rufus to slip out of sight behind the barn. But one spring day, as the ox cart passed by, Rufus was careless and left his long pointed tail sticking out. The old sheep herder knew very well that such a tail could only belong to a dragon. When he reached the village late in the day, the old fellow went straight to the castle to tell the king. Oh no, the king knows that Rufus is out there. The king wants his head. The next day, the king and all his knights came riding up the road to the farm on their great war horses, armed with swords and lances. Remember, these are called lances. Rufus knew there was no hiding. They had heard he was there, or they wouldn't have come. So he stood there in the field while the farmer and his son ran out to meet them. So he can't even run. He can't fly away because his wings are tattered. This is another problem. Hope there's a solution for Rufus. "We come for the dragon," said the king, "and here's your reward of 100 golden quadruples." "I don't want the reward," said the farmer. "The dragon's not for sale." "But I must have his head," said the king, "so please stand aside." "But he's a good dragon," said the boy. "He's tame as a kitten. He even sleeps by my bed every night." "Look here, boy," growled the king. "I've got no time for tomfoolery. Tomfoolery is just silliness. That's silly. There's no way a dragon could sleep by your bed. He's too big, right? Stop being silly," the king's telling him. "Oh, I didn't mean all of them," said the boy. "Only his head sleeps by my bed. He sticks his neck through the window, and the rest of him stays outside." "Would you like to have a dragon sleeping by your bed every night?" "Well, now, son, that's a bit more like it," said the king. "In fact, that gives me an idea, a grand idea. I'll borrow your dragon just for special occasions, and I'll pay you 20 quadruples each time. What do you say to that?" "It's up to the dragon," said the boy. "Make it 30 quadruples," said Rufus. "Then 30 it is," said the king. Rufus made his first visit to the king's castle on the 8th day of April. It's April was a couple weeks ago. The day of the grand spring festival. People came from miles around, crowding into the great hall, which was splendorously bedecked with banners and streamers and festoons of flowers. High up on the wall, a giant of a dragon's head appeared through an elegant window framed in gold. See how the frame of the window is covered in gold? A happy, smiling dragon's head that brought cries of surprise and squeals of delight and sent the crowd into a jolly, frolicsome mood. Frolicsome means happy. Soon they were all singing and dancing to the music of trumpets and flutes, and the spring festival was going full tilt. A festival's like a party. The dragon was so carried away by all the merriment, he suddenly burst into a booming, ear-splitting voice that rocked the rafters and drowned out all the trumpets and flutes before he finally caught himself. In all the excitement, Drufus the dragon lost his head, but only for a moment. So they had Drufus sticking his head through a window. So Drufus is fine, but when it means to lose your head means to get a little crazy, to forget yourself. And he was having so much fun, he sang so loud he lost his head just for a moment. So they did solve the problem. Instead of chopping off Drufus's head and putting it on the wall, they just had him stick his head through a window. So the problem got solved. And there are a lot of other books by Bill Pete, but this was always one of my favorites, How Drufus the Dragon Lost His Head. K3, looking good. We are going to take a Go Noodle break because you've been listening for a long time. And then we're going to finish up with a little writing and math. All right, here we go. Let's see, what's this? Oh, yeah, the Maximo Macarena, because it's Macarena Monday, everybody. Stand up. Get some space to do the Macarena with Maximo.
Greetings, my friends. It is I, Maximo. And do you know what time it is? Yes, you do. It's time for the Macarena. Hit it.
Come and find me, my name is Macarena. Always at the party, full of tickets, get the buena. Come and join me, dance with me, and all your fellows chant along with me.
Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, tu cuerpo para la alegría y cosa buena. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena. ¡Eh, Macarena! Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, tu cuerpo para la alegría y cosa buena. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena. ¡Eh, Macarena! Over, shoulder, shoulder, up, cross, feet, well. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, tu cuerpo para la alegría y cosa buena. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena. Macarena! Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, tu cuerpo para la alegría y cosa buena. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena. Macarena!
Now don't you worry about my boyfriend, the boy whose name was Vitorino. I don't want him, couldn't stand him, he was no good, so I...
La la! Shake now. Are you moving and grooving? Yes, you are. Get jiggy with it.
Come and find me, my name is Macarena. Always at the party, full of tickets, get the buena. Come and join me, dance with me, and all your fellows chant along with me.
Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, tu cuerpo para la alegría y cosa buena. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena. Macarena! Over, shoulder, up, cross, feet, well. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, tu cuerpo para la alegría y cosa buena. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena. Macarena! Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, tu cuerpo para la alegría y cosa buena. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena. Macarena! Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena, tu cuerpo para la alegría y cosa buena. Dale tu cuerpo alegría, Macarena. Macarena!
Nice.
All right. Now, do you know what time it is?
All right, here we go, K3. So we are going to move into Write to Self. In today's writing lesson, we've been working on our personal narratives. I'm going to flip this down here. A personal narrative, remember, is a story about your life. And we've talked about having a beginning, we've talked about having a middle, and we've talked about having an end, right? The beginning, the middle, and the end. Now we're going to add up a new part of our personal narrative, and this is called problem and solution. The problem is something that went wrong, and the solution is how it gets solved, right? So the king wanted Drufus the dragon's head, and the solution was, oh, he didn't need to kill him. He just had him stick his head through the window, right? Problem, solution. And lots of stories that you read have problems and solutions. And I want you to think about a problem that happened to you and then a solution. How did that problem get solved? So I'm going to think right now, and oh, I got a good one. I'm just going to think. I've got my beginning, my middle, and my end. And what we're going to do is I'm going to just sketch. I'm doing a quick sketch of the story. And I'm going to tell you the story while I sketch it. Because the more we talk about our writing, the better our writing are going to be. Remember, first I'm going to visualize it in my head. And I remember this time, it was probably about 3 months ago. I was getting ready for school. I had my hair combed, I was smiling, and I was standing in the kitchen with my coffee. I had just got nice and dressed. I had my nice shirt on. Zora was down there with me. So I already have 2 characters, right? I'm in the kitchen. Here's Zorro with his floppy ears. His big old tail. Fluffy tail. There's Zorro, because Zorro follows me wherever I go, right? And I was drinking coffee in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, Zorro saw something go by the window. Zorro loves to chase birds. And I think he saw a bird go by the window. And he started barking. And it scared me. Ah. So I got really scared. I threw my coffee up into the air. The coffee spilled all over me. So I had hot coffee on my shirt. Ow, 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 ow. Ooh, that hurt, Ah. Ah. And Zora was barking. There's Zora. And you know, the worst part about it is, besides getting burned, oh, I had these coffee stains all over my shirt. And I was supposed to go to school. I was going to be late for you guys. But now I had coffee stains all over my t-shirt. And I just wasn't ready. And the coffee mug broke on the ground. And there was coffee spilled all over the floor. And Zora was barking, and the coffee mug was broken, and my shirt had all these stains on it. I was going to be late for school. But what happened is Sophia came in, and she said, "Daddy, let me help." And Sophia, she grabbed Zorro, and she took him away so that he wouldn't get cut by the coffee, right? The coffee mug was all broken. So Sophia took Zorro. She took him away. And Tucker, he started cleaning up the coffee. He said, I'll handle it. Dad, I got this. So Tucker cleaned up the broken coffee mug, and he mopped up the coffee with a rag. He had a rag on. There's Tucker. He's wearing his baseball hat. And my wife, Leah, said, "Michael, go upstairs. Here's a new shirt for you." So here's my wife, Leah, and she's holding out a new shirt for me. And my family helped me get to school on time. So here's Leah with my shirt. Again, Is this my perfect drawing? No, this is just a sketch. But by drawing and talking, you're able to see my beginning, my middle, and my end. You're also able to see my problem, right? Here's my problem and how it gets solved, my solution. So what I want you to do today is I want you to take some time and I want you to think about a story where there was a problem and a solution that happened to you, okay? I talked and drew today about me spilling coffee all over myself when Zorro barked, and then my family helping me clean up, right? And while I talked, I did a sketch. Is this my best drawing? No, it's just a sketch. I'm just getting my ideas out. I'll go back, I'll write my words later, and I'll color in later, okay? All right, K3. Today, for Right to Self, I'd like you to do the same thing that I did. I want you to think and talk about a story that has a problem and a solution. All right, K3, hit pause, go take about 10 minutes to do your right to self. Remember, I care about talking about your story. Tell your dog your story, tell your cat your story. The more you talk about your problem, solution, personal narrative, the better your story is going to be, okay? We're going to move on right on into math. Here we go, everybody. We have our math book right here. So let's get this pushed up there so everybody can see math, and there we go. All right, we are quickly finishing this chapter. What we're going to work on now is taking apart the numbers 11 to 15. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my name. We're on page 449. Everybody get your math books out. Turn to this page, 449, and I'll start reading. Remember, we're decomposing and composing numbers, okay? Today, when it says take apart, that means we're going to be decomposing the numbers. We're taking a big number, we're breaking it up into little itty bitty numbers. We're taking it apart, all right? Take apart numbers 11 to 15. Lesson 2, essential question. How do we show numbers 11 to 19 in another way? And this little dude is saying, let's take apart numbers. Explore and explain. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to say a number between 11 and 15, and I'm going to say 14, okay? So I'm going to write the number 14 here. I'd like you all to write the number 14 here, all right? Now, I'm going to use counters to show 14, all right? So I need to get my counters out, and I'm going to show 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. $11, $12, $13, $14. Now, I have a full 10 frame right here. See that? So I'm right 10. And in my ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have 4 here. Because 14 is the same as 10 and 1. We took 14 and we've broken it up into 10 and 1. Got it? Then I can go back and draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, because 10 and 4 is 14. We are starting with the big number today. So over here on See and Show, it says here, say the number, trace it. 11. I'm going to now take apart the number by showing 10 counters and some more. Well, I have my 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10. 10 and 1 more is 11. Let's do this next one. What number is this? You don't know the number, just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh yeah, 12. 12 is the same thing as 10, 10 here, 10 here, and 2 more. Mr. Stanton counting, that's all you're doing now. It's just Mr. Stanton counting. I started teaching you this a long time ago. Here we have 10 and 3, that's 13. 13 is 10 and 3 more. All right? So, for on your own, trace the number, count the number, 10 and how many more? Trace the number, count the number, 10 and how many more? And you're going to do that here and here. All right? Here you're going to have to draw this number on your 10 frame, draw this number. For your homework, it's the same thing. All right? So for math today, you can take a picture of, let's do 452. All right? Great job, K3. Hope everybody had a great lesson. Keep on working hard. I am so proud of you, and I will see you in our Zoom meeting. All right? Bye, guys. Have a good one.